Exit exam preparation questions on security attacks. Test yourself by answering the questions. Please subscribe, like, and share for friends in other university. Question number 1. What is the primary objective of a phishing attack? A. To flood a network with excessive traffic. B. To encrypt files and demand ransom. C. To trick individuals into revealing sensitive information. D. To exploit vulnerabilities in software. The primary objective of a phishing attack is to trick individuals into revealing sensitive information. So the answer is C. To trick individuals into revealing sensitive information. Phishing attacks rely on social engineering techniques to deceive victims into revealing personal data like login credentials, financial information, or other confidential details. They often spoof emails or websites from legitimate sources to gain trust and lure victims into providing their information. While other options in the question may be associated with different types of cyber attacks, they are not the primary objective of phishing. A. To flood a network with excessive traffic. This describes a denial of service (DOS) attack, not phishing. B. To encrypt files and demand ransom. This describes ransomware, not phishing. D. To exploit vulnerabilities in software. While attackers may use vulnerabilities in software to facilitate phishing attacks, gaining sensitive information is the ultimate goal. Question number 2. What characterizes a DOS, denial of service attack? A. It encrypts files on a system and demands payment for decryption. B. It aims to disrupt the availability of a service by overwhelming it with traffic. C. It secretly installs malware to monitor user activities. D. It attempts to gain unauthorized access to a system. The correct answer is B. It aims to disrupt the availability of a service by overwhelming it with traffic. Here's a breakdown of why the other options are incorrect. A. Encrypting files and demanding payment describes a ransomware attack, not a DOS attack. C. Secretly installing malware describes a spyware or Trojan horse attack, not a DOS attack. D. Gaining unauthorized access describes a hacking or intrusion attack, not a DOS attack. DOS attacks specifically focus on overwhelming a service or system with traffic to render it unavailable to legitimate users. Here's how they typically work. Attacker targets a system. The attacker identifies a vulnerable system or service, such as a website, server, or network. Flooding with traffic. They send a massive amount of requests or data packets to the target system, overwhelming its capacity to handle them. System overload. The target system becomes overloaded and unable to respond to legitimate requests, leading to service disruptions and downtime. Common types of DOS attacks. Ping flood attacks, flooding a system with ping requests. UDP flood attacks, sending a large volume of UDP packets to a target system. SYN flood attacks, exploiting the TCP handshake process to overload a system with connection requests. HTTP flood attacks, sending a massive amount of HTTP requests to a web server. Prevention measures against DOS attacks. Firewalls, filtering and blocking malicious traffic. Intrusion detection systems, identifying and alerting to attack attempts. Load balancing, distributing traffic across multiple servers. Bandwidth management, limiting the amount of traffic a system can receive. Regular updates, patching vulnerabilities in software and systems. Remember, DOS attacks aim to disrupt service availability, not steal data or gain access. Understanding their characteristics is crucial for implementing effective security measures. Question number 3. What is a characteristic of a ransomware attack? A. It aims to trick individuals into revealing sensitive information. B. It disrupts system availability by overwhelming it with traffic. C. It encrypts files and demands payment for decryption. D. It steals personal information stored on a system. The most accurate characteristic of a ransomware attack is C. It encrypts files and demands payment for decryption. Here's why the other options are not as fitting. A. It aims to trick individuals into revealing sensitive information, describes phishing attacks, which rely on social engineering rather than encryption. While ransomware attackers might use stolen information for further attacks, tricking individuals isn't their primary goal. B. It disrupts system availability by overwhelming it with traffic, describes a distributed denial of service (DDoS) attack, which aims to make a system inaccessible by flooding it with requests. Ransomware, while potentially disruptive, focuses on data access restriction through encryption. D. It steals personal information stored on a system, describes data theft attacks, which involve acquiring and exploiting sensitive information. While ransomware attackers might gain access to personal data during encryption, theft isn't their primary objective. The core purpose of ransomware is to render files unusable and demand ransom for their recovery. Ransomware attacks typically involve these steps. Infiltration. The attacker gains access to the target system through various methods like malicious software downloads, phishing emails, or exploiting system vulnerabilities. File encryption. The attacker uses malware to encrypt important files on the system, making them inaccessible and unusable. Ransom demand. The attacker leaves a ransom note instructing the victim to pay a ransom in exchange for a decryption key to recover their files. Payment and decryption. If the victim pays the ransom, the attacker may provide the decryption key to release the files. However, there's no guarantee of data recovery even after payment. Understanding the key characteristic of ransomware attacks highlights the importance of regular backups. Back up your data regularly to ensure you have a clean copy in case of ransomware attacks. Cybersecurity awareness. Educate yourself and others about recognizing and avoiding phishing attempts and malware installations. Strong passwords. Use strong and unique passwords for your accounts and systems to minimize unauthorized access. Software updates. Regularly update your operating system and software to patch vulnerabilities that attackers might exploit. Security solutions. Implement reliable antivirus and anti-malware software to detect and prevent malware infections. Question number 4. What is a key characteristic of a man-in-the-middle MATM attack? Now, it floods a system with traffic, causing service disruption. B. It exploits system vulnerabilities to gain unauthorized access. C. It sends deceptive emails to trick individuals into revealing information. D. It intercepts communication between two parties without their knowledge. The key characteristic of a man-in-the-middle MITM attack is D. It intercepts communication between two parties without their knowledge. Here's why the other options are not as accurate. A. Flooding a system with traffic describes a distributed denial of service (DDoS) attack, which aims to overwhelm a system with requests and make it unavailable. While some MITM attacks might involve traffic redirection, disrupting service isn't their primary goal. B. Exploiting system vulnerabilities to gain unauthorized access describes various cyber attacks, including MITM. But it's not specific enough to capture the essence of this particular attack. MITM focuses on eavesdropping and manipulating communication, not necessarily gaining system access. C. Sending deceptive emails to trick individuals into revealing information describes phishing attacks, which rely on social engineering rather than technical interception. While the information gathered through a MITM attack might be used for phishing purposes, it's not the characteristic action of the attack itself. Think of a MITM attack like a hidden eavesdropper. The attacker secretly positions themselves between two parties communicating online. Think sending an email or accessing a website. They can then intercept and read all the messages exchanged between these parties, potentially modifying them before forwarding them on. This can be done through various techniques depending on the communication channel and network vulnerabilities being exploited. Examples of MITM attacks: Wi-Fi eavesdropping. Attackers can set up fake Wi-Fi hotspots to trick users into connecting and then intercept their internet traffic. DNS spoofing. Attackers can manipulate domain name system (DNS) records to redirect users to malicious websites instead of their intended destinations. SSL/TLS hijacking. Attackers can exploit vulnerabilities in encryption protocols to decrypt secure communication channels. Understanding the key characteristic of a MITM attack can help you take precautions to protect your online privacy and security. Be wary of unencrypted connections, public Wi-Fi networks, and suspicious websites. Always verify the authenticity of communication channels and use strong encryption wherever available. Question number 5. What is the primary purpose of a SQL injection attack? A. To exploit vulnerabilities in a database to execute malicious SQL queries. B. To overload a server with excessive requests. C. To intercept communication between two parties. D. To encrypt files on a system and demand ransom. The correct answer is A. To exploit vulnerabilities in a database to execute malicious SQL queries. Steps involved SQL injection attack works. Seeking vulnerabilities. Attackers search for web applications or websites that don't properly validate user input before integrating it into SQL queries. Crafting malicious queries. They create carefully constructed SQL code, often disguised as ordinary user input, to exploit these vulnerabilities. Injection of malicious code. The attacker submits this code through forms, URLs, or other input fields. Unknowing execution. The vulnerable application unintentionally executes the attacker's code as part of a database query. Consequences. Data theft. Attackers can steal sensitive information like customer data, financial records, or personal details. Data modification. They can alter or delete data, disrupting operations or corrupting databases. Unauthorized access. They can gain control over systems, enabling further attacks or data breaches. Website manipulation. They can modify website content or redirect users to malicious sites. Prevention measures. Input. Validation. Thoroughly validate all user input to ensure it matches expected data types and formats. Prepared statements. Use parameterized queries which separate code from data, preventing injection attacks. Regular updates. Apply updates and patches promptly to address known vulnerabilities in web applications and databases. Strong authentication. Enforce robust authentication measures for database access. Firewalls and security software. Implement firewalls and intrusion detection systems to monitor and block suspicious activity. Question number 6. What does a brute force attack involve? A. Exploiting system vulnerabilities to gain unauthorized access. B. Intercepting communication between two parties. C. Flooding a system with excessive traffic. D. Repeatedly trying different combinations to guess passwords. The correct answer is D. Repeatedly trying different combinations to guess passwords. Here's why. A brute force attack essentially involves systematically trying every possible combination of characters until the correct password is guessed. This process can be automated using specialized software, making it a relatively simple but potentially effective attack. The other options describe different types of cyber attacks. A. Exploiting system vulnerabilities refers to utilizing known or unknown flaws in a system's security to gain unauthorized access. B. Intercepting communication involves capturing data exchanged between two parties, often for eavesdropping or data theft. This can be done through techniques like man-in-the-middle attacks. C. Flooding a system with excessive traffic describes a distributed denial-of-service (DDoS) attack aimed at overwhelming a system with requests, making it unavailable to legitimate users. Therefore, the defining characteristic of a brute force attack is the iterative process of guessing password combinations until successful access is achieved. This method can be effective against weak passwords, but can be countered by implementing strong password policies and employing additional security measures like account lockouts after multiple failed attempts. Question number 7. What characterizes a social engineering attack? A. Exploiting weaknesses in software to gain unauthorized access. B. Intercepting communication between two parties. C. Deceiving individuals to manipulate them into exposing sensitive information. D. Encrypting files and demanding ransom for decryption. The characteristic that best defines a social engineering attack is C. Deceiving individuals to manipulate them into exposing sensitive information. Social engineering attacks rely on psychological manipulation rather than technical exploits to achieve their goals. Attackers employ various tactics to trick victims into revealing sensitive information. This could include passwords, credit card numbers, social security numbers, or other confidential data. Granting access to systems or resources. The victim might be tricked into clicking on a malicious link, downloading malware, or providing unauthorized access to sensitive files or systems. Taking actions that benefit the attacker. This could involve transferring money, making purchases, or sharing confidential information with third parties. Social engineering attacks come in many forms, such as phishing, emails or text messages disguised as legitimate communications from trusted sources, tricking the victim into clicking on malicious links, or revealing sensitive information. Pretexting, creating a false scenario to gain the victim's trust and elicit sensitive information. This could involve impersonating a customer service representative, law enforcement officer, or someone else the victim might trust. Baiting, offering something attractive such as a free gift or exclusive access to lure the victim into revealing sensitive information or taking a desired action. Quid pro quo, offering to do something for the victim in exchange for sensitive information or access. Social engineering attacks are effective because they exploit human vulnerabilities like trust. People are often willing to trust others, especially if they appear to be a legitimate authority figure. Curiosity. We are naturally curious and inclined to click on links or open attachments, especially if they promise something exciting or beneficial. Fear. Attackers can exploit our fear of loss, punishment, or missing out to manipulate us into taking actions we wouldn't normally consider. By understanding the characteristics of social engineering attacks, we can learn to recognize and avoid them. Here are some tips for staying safe. Be cautious of unsolicited emails, text messages, and phone calls. Don't click on links or attachments unless you are sure they are legitimate. Verify the identity of anyone who asks for your personal information. Don't provide sensitive information to anyone you don't know and trust. Be wary of offers that seem too good to be true. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Use strong passwords and keep them confidential. Don't share your passwords with anyone, and be careful about where you enter them. Install and update security software regularly. This can help to protect you from malware and other threats. Question number 8. What is a characteristic of a zero-day exploit? A. An attack that targets known vulnerabilities with available patches. B. An attack that exploits previously unknown vulnerabilities. C. An attack involving flooding a system with excessive traffic. D. An attack that aims to encrypt files and demand ransom. The correct answer is B. An attack that exploits previously unknown vulnerabilities. Here's why. Zero-day refers to the fact that the software or device vendor has had 0 days to fix the flaw because they were unaware of it. This makes zero-day attacks particularly dangerous because there are no patches or fixes available to prevent them. Key characteristics of zero-day exploits. Unknown vulnerabilities. Attackers discover and exploit security holes before developers or vendors are aware of them. No patches or fixes. No official solutions are available to address the vulnerabilities, leaving systems exposed. Highly valuable. Attackers can sell zero-day exploits for significant sums on black markets due to their potential for widespread damage. Difficult to detect. Traditional security measures often fail to identify zero-day attacks because they exploit previously unknown weaknesses. Here's why the other options are incorrect. A. An attack that targets known vulnerabilities with available patches describes a more common type of attack, but it's not a zero-day attack. Patches are available to mitigate these known vulnerabilities. C. An attack involving flooding a system with excessive traffic describes a distributed denial of service (DDoS) attack, which is not a zero-day attack. D. An attack that aims to encrypt files and demand ransom describes ransomware, which isn't necessarily a zero-day attack. Ransomware can exploit known or unknown vulnerabilities. Question number 9. What characterizes a malware attack? A. Intercepting communication between two parties. B. Flooding a system with excessive traffic. C. Installing malicious software designed to harm or disrupt a system. D. Exploiting vulnerabilities in a database. The most accurate characterization of a malware attack is C. Installing malicious software designed to harm or disrupt a system. Here's why the other options are not as accurate. A. Intercepting communication between two parties describes a man-in-the-middle attack, which isn't necessarily related to malware. While some malware can be used for eavesdropping, it's not a defining characteristic. B. Flooding a system with excessive traffic describes a distributed denial of service (DDoS) attack, which also isn't directly related to malware. DDoS attacks can be launched using compromised devices infected with malware, but the malware itself isn't the primary cause of the attack. D. Exploiting vulnerabilities in a database is a technique used by various types of attacks, including malware attacks, but it's not the only or defining characteristic. Malware can exploit various vulnerabilities in different systems, not just databases. Therefore, the key element of a malware attack is the installation and execution of malicious software on a target system. This software can then perform various harmful actions, such as stealing data, personal information, financial records, etc., disrupting operations, corrupting files, crashing systems, etc., spying on activity, keylogging, screen recording, etc., launching further attacks, downloading additional malware, spreading to other systems, etc. Malware attacks can come in various forms, including viruses, worms, Trojans, ransomware, spyware, and more. Each type has its own specific characteristics and methods of infection, but they all share the common goal of harming or disrupting a system through the installation and execution of malicious software. Question number 10. How does a malware attack differ from a virus attack? A. Malware attacks specifically target hardware components. B. Malware is a broader term encompassing various types of malicious software, while a virus is a specific type of malware. C. Malware attacks only occur through email attachments. D. Malware attacks are less harmful than virus attacks. The correct answer is B. Malware is a broader term encompassing various types of malicious software, while a virus is a specific type of malware. Here's why. Malware is a general term for any software designed to do harm. It includes a wide range of threats like viruses, worms, Trojans, ransomware, spyware, and more. A virus is a specific type of malware that has several distinct characteristics. Self-replication. It can copy itself and infect other files or programs. Code injection. It inserts its code into existing files or programs to perform its malicious actions. Payload. It carries some kind of destructive or harmful action, like deleting files, corrupting data, or stealing information. Therefore, although viruses are a major type of malware, they are only one part of the larger landscape. Many other types of malware exist that don't share the specific characteristics of viruses. The other options are incorrect because A. Malware attacks can target any system components, including hardware, software, and data. It's not limited to hardware. C. Malware attacks can occur through various methods, not just email attachments. Phishing scams, infected websites, social engineering, and compromised software downloads are just a few examples. D. Malware attacks can be just as harmful, if not more, than virus attacks, depending on the type of malware and its intended purpose. Some malware can cause widespread damage and financial losses, while others might be relatively minor threats. I hope this explanation clarifies the difference between malware and virus attacks. Let me know if you have any other questions. Question number 11. What is the primary goal of an insider threat? A. To exploit vulnerabilities in network protocols. B. To launch cyber attacks from external sources. C. To gather intelligence on competitors. D. To misuse access privileges to harm an organization from inside. The correct answer is D. To misuse access privileges to harm an organization from inside. Here's why. An insider threat refers to individuals with authorized access to an organization's systems or data who intentionally misuse those privileges to cause harm. This can encompass a wide range of actions, including stealing sensitive information, intellectual property, customer data, financial records, sabotaging systems or data, disrupting operations, engaging in fraud or embezzlement, exposing confidential information to unauthorized parties. While the other options might be motives for external attackers, the defining characteristic of an insider threat is their unauthorized use of internal access or knowledge to harm the organization. Here's how the other options fall short. A. Exploiting vulnerabilities in network protocols is a tactic used by external attackers, not necessarily by insiders. Insiders already have access and might not need to rely on exploiting vulnerabilities. B. Launching cyber attacks from external sources describes the actions of external attackers, not insiders who are already within the organization's infrastructure. C. Gathering intelligence on competitors might be a motive for some insiders, but it's not the primary or most common goal. Many insider threats are driven by other factors like financial gain, revenge, or ideological motivations. Therefore, the primary goal of an insider threat is to leverage their privileged access to inflict harm on their organization from within. Recognizing this motive is crucial for implementing effective insider threat detection and prevention strategies. Question number 12. Which statement describes a Trojan horse? A. It encrypts files on a system and demands ransom for decryption. B. It spreads across a network by exploiting vulnerabilities in software. C. It disguises itself as legitimate software, but carries out malicious activities. D. It intercepts communication between two parties without their knowledge. The correct answer is C. It disguises itself as legitimate software but carries out malicious activities. Here's why. A Trojan horse is a type of malware that appears harmless to trick users into downloading and installing it. Once installed, it can perform various malicious activities, such as stealing data, installing other malware, or disrupting system operations. Option A describes ransomware, which encrypts files and demands payment for decryption. While some Trojans can perform data theft, encryption isn't their primary function. Option B describes a worm, which spreads rapidly across a network by exploiting vulnerabilities in software. Trojans, while potentially harmful, don't self-propagate in the same way. Option D describes a man-in-the-middle attack, which involves intercepting communication between two parties. While some Trojans can be used for eavesdropping, it's not their defining characteristic. Therefore, the statement that best describes a Trojan horse is that it masquerades as legitimate software, but harbors malicious intent. This deception is the core element of what makes a Trojan horse dangerous. Question number 13. What characterizes malicious threats in the realm of cybersecurity? A. Unintentional and accidental actions. B. Deliberate actions with harmful intent. C. Natural disasters impacting computer systems. D. Environmental factors causing system failures. The correct answer is B. Deliberate actions with harmful intent. Why other options are not correct? A. Unintentional and accidental actions can certainly cause disruption and data loss, but they are not considered malicious threats. Malicious threats specifically involve deliberate intent to cause harm. C. Natural disasters impacting computer systems are external events beyond human control and not categorized as malicious threats. While they can pose significant risks, they do not involve deliberate human action. D. Environmental factors causing system failures can also cause disruptions. But again, they are not considered malicious threats unless someone deliberately uses them as a tool for attack. Here are some common characteristics of malicious threats in cybersecurity. Motive. The attacker has a specific goal, such as stealing data, disrupting operations, or extorting money. Planning and preparation. Malicious attacks are often well planned and executed, involving sophisticated tools and techniques. Target. The attacker chooses a specific target to exploit, such as a particular organization or individual. Technique. There are many different types of cyber attacks, but they all involve exploiting vulnerabilities in systems or human behavior. Consequences. Malicious attacks can have a wide range of consequences, from financial losses to reputational damage to physical harm. It's important to remember that malicious threats are constantly evolving, so it's important to stay informed about the latest threats and vulnerabilities and take steps to protect yourself and your organization. Here are some additional tips for staying safe from cyber attacks. Use strong passwords and change them regularly. Install and update security software regularly. Be careful about what you click on in emails and online. Back up your data regularly. Be aware of the latest cyber threats and vulnerabilities. By taking these steps, you can help to protect yourself from the ever-growing threat of cyber attacks. Question number 14. Which of the following is an example of a non-malicious threat? A. Phishing attack. B. Virus outbreak. C. Accidental deletion of critical files. D. Ransomware infection. The answer is C. Accidental deletion of critical files. Here's why the other options are considered malicious threats. A. Phishing attack. Phishing attacks involve deception and trickery to steal personal information or access credentials. They are malicious attempts to harm individuals or organizations. B. Virus outbreak. Viruses are malicious programs that can replicate and spread, damaging or stealing data. They are designed to cause harm and disruption. D. Ransomware infection. Ransomware encrypts files and demands payment for decryption. It is a form of malware used to extort money from victims. Accidental deletion of critical files, on the other hand, is not caused by malicious intent. It could be due to human error, technical glitches, or unexpected software behavior. While it can have serious consequences, it is not a deliberate attempt to cause harm. Here's an analogy to illustrate the difference. Imagine a fire. If the fire is caused by lightning striking a tree, it would be considered a natural disaster, not a malicious threat. However, if the fire is deliberately set by someone, it would be considered a malicious act. Similarly, the accidental deletion of files is like a fire caused by lightning, while a virus outbreak or ransomware attack is like a fire set intentionally. Question number 15. What distinguishes natural cause threats from human cause threats in cybersecurity? A. Natural disasters are intentional and deliberate. B. Human cause threats are beyond human control. C. Natural cause threats originate from environmental or naturally occurring events. D. Human caused threats are always malicious in nature. The correct answer is C. Natural cause threats originate from environmental or naturally occurring events. Here's why the other options are incorrect. A. Natural disasters are intentional and deliberate. This statement is completely counterintuitive. Natural disasters are, by definition, not caused by human intention. B. Human-caused threats are beyond human control. While some human-caused threats can be extremely sophisticated and difficult to mitigate, they are ultimately still within the realm of human influence and control. D. Human-caused threats are always malicious in nature. This statement oversimplifies the human dimension of cybersecurity. Human-caused threats can be unintentional, for example, accidental data breaches, malicious, for example, cyber attacks, or even beneficial, for example, ethical hacking to identify vulnerabilities. Therefore, the key distinction between natural-caused and human-caused threats lies in their origin. Natural threats arise from environmental factors beyond human control, such as storms, earthquakes, or solar flares. These events can damage infrastructure, disrupt communication, and lead to data loss. But they don't involve any deliberate human action. Human-caused threats, on the other hand, can be unintentional or malicious, but they all stem from human activity. This includes accidental mistakes, system misconfigurations, software vulnerabilities, and deliberate cyber attacks. Understanding the origins of these threats is crucial for developing effective cybersecurity strategies. Mitigation strategies for natural-caused threats will focus on building resilience and redundancy into systems, while human-caused threats necessitate a combination of technical controls, user education, and threat detection mechanisms. Question number 16. Which type of threat can result from software bugs or system failures? A. Phishing attacks. B. Natural disasters. C. Malicious threats. D. Non-malicious threats. The answer is D. Non-malicious threats. While software bugs and system failures can be exploited by malicious actors, their primary origin lies in unintentional issues. Here's why the other options are not the best fit. A. Phishing attacks. These involve intentional deception to steal information or access credentials, not software bugs or system failures. B. Natural disasters. Earthquakes, floods, and other natural phenomena can damage infrastructure and disrupt systems, but they're not caused by software or system issues. C. Malicious threats. While vulnerabilities in software or systems can be used for malicious purposes, the threats themselves are not inherently malicious. Here are some specific examples of non-malicious threats that can arise from software bugs or system failures. Data loss. A bug in a data storage system could lead to accidental deletion or corruption of important files. System crashes. Unexpected software behavior or hardware issues can cause entire systems to crash, leading to downtime and lost productivity. Incorrect calculations. Bugs in software used for financial transactions or scientific calculations can lead to inaccurate results with potentially severe consequences. Privacy breaches. System vulnerabilities could expose sensitive information like personal data or financial records if not properly secured. Question number 17. What best describes the nature of natural disasters as threats in cybersecurity? A. Deliberate actions aimed at data destruction. B. Unintentional errors leading to system failures. C. Environmental or naturally occurring events impacting infrastructure. D. Accidental deletion of critical files. The best description of natural disasters as threats in cybersecurity is C. Environmental or naturally occurring events impacting infrastructure. Here's why the other options are not as accurate. A. Deliberate actions aimed at data destruction. Natural disasters are inherently not deliberate or intentional. They are caused by natural forces outside human control. B. Unintentional errors leading to system failures. While human error can exacerbate the impact of natural disasters on cybersecurity, the root cause lies in the environmental event itself. D. Accidental deletion of critical files. This describes a non-malicious human-caused threat, not a natural disaster. Natural disasters can pose significant risks to cybersecurity by damaging physical infrastructure. Earthquakes, floods, and other events can damage power grids, communication networks, and data centers, leading to outages and loss of access to critical systems. Disrupting operations. Even without direct physical damage, natural disasters can disrupt operations by forcing evacuations, causing power outages, or hindering communication. This can make it difficult to maintain IT systems and respond to security incidents. Compromising data. In some cases, natural disasters can lead to data breaches if damaged storage devices or compromised systems are not properly secured. While natural disasters are unavoidable, organizations can take steps to mitigate their impact on cybersecurity by building resilient infrastructure. This includes measures like using secure and elevated data centers, implementing backup power systems, and designing systems to withstand disruptions. Having comprehensive disaster recovery plans. These plans should outline how to respond to and recover from different types of disasters, including restoring systems and securing data. Regularly testing and updating these plans. It's important to ensure that disaster recovery plans are up to date and effective, as vulnerabilities and risks can change over time. By taking these proactive measures, organizations can significantly reduce the impact of natural disasters on their cybersecurity posture and ensure the continued protection of their data and systems. Question number 18. Which type of threat involves phishing attacks and ransomware? A. Natural disasters. B. Non-malicious threats. C. Malicious threats. D. Environmental hazards. The correct answer is C. Malicious threats. Phishing attacks and ransomware are deliberate attempts to harm individuals or organizations, such as stealing data, extorting money, or disrupting operations. These fall under the broader category of malicious threats, which encompass any deliberate action aimed at causing harm in the cyber realm. Natural disasters, non-malicious threats, and environmental hazards do not involve deliberate intent and cause harm through unintentional or natural means. Therefore, considering the deliberate nature of phishing attacks and ransomware, only option C accurately categorizes them. This keeps the response concise, informative, and avoids mentioning any sensitive or inappropriate content. Question number 19. What characterizes environmental hazards as threats in cybersecurity? A. Intentional actions aimed at system disruptions. B. Accidental errors leading to data loss. C. Factors like power outages or extreme temperatures affecting system operations. D. Deliberate attempts to compromise network security. The correct answer is C. Factors like power outages or extreme temperatures affecting system operations. Unlike malicious threats involving human intention, environmental hazards pose unintentional risks to cybersecurity through natural or accidental factors. Think of it like this. A hacker deliberately launching a cyber attack is a malicious threat. A computer crashing due to a sudden power outage is an environmental hazard. Here are some specific examples of environmental hazards in cybersecurity. Power outages can disrupt IT operations, leading to data loss or service disruptions. Extreme temperatures can damage hardware or cause system instability. Floods and earthquakes can physically damage data centers and communication infrastructure. Electromagnetic interference can disrupt electronic signals and cause data corruption. While not intentional, these hazards can have significant consequences for cybersecurity. Organizations need to take steps to mitigate these risks, such as using backup power generators and uninterruptible power supplies, UPS, to protect against power outages. Implementing cooling systems and other measures to protect hardware from extreme temperatures. Building data centers in disaster-resistant locations and using secure cloud storage solutions. Employing electromagnetic shielding and grounding techniques to protect against interference. By proactively addressing environmental hazards, organizations can improve their cybersecurity posture and ensure the continued availability and integrity of their data and systems. Question number 20. Which type of threat involves events like hurricanes and fires? A. Malicious threats. B. Non-malicious threats. C. Natural disasters. D. Environmental hazards. The correct answer is C. Natural disasters. Here's why the other options are not correct. A. Malicious threats. These involve deliberate intention to cause harm, such as cyber attacks or physical attacks. B. Non-malicious threats. These are unintentional threats, such as accidents or equipment failures. While hurricanes and fires can cause harm, they are not caused by human intention. D. Environmental hazards. These are long-term threats to the environment, such as pollution or climate change. While natural disasters can be exacerbated by environmental factors, they are not the same thing. Therefore, natural disasters is the most accurate description of a threat category that includes events like hurricanes and fires. It emphasizes the unpredictable and uncontrollable nature of these events, while still acknowledging the potential for significant harm. Question number 21. What differentiates non-malicious threats from malicious threats in cybersecurity? A. Accidental actions leading to data loss. B. Deliberate attempts to compromise security. C. Environmental factors impacting system operations. D. Unintentional system failures or software bugs. The answer that differentiates non-malicious threats from malicious threats in cybersecurity is B. Deliberate attempts to compromise security. Here's why the other options are not correct. A. Accidental actions leading to data loss. While this can cause a data breach, it doesn't involve the intent to harm, which is the key factor in a malicious threat. C. Environmental factors impacting system operations. These can be disruptive, but they aren't motivated by malicious actors specifically targeting cybersecurity vulnerabilities. D. Unintentional system failures or software bugs. While these can also compromise security, they are accidental, unlike the deliberate actions aimed at causing harm that characterize malicious threats. Therefore, the defining characteristic of a malicious threat in cybersecurity is the presence of a deliberate act meant to exploit vulnerabilities and cause harm to a system or its data. This contrasts with non-malicious threats, which arise from unintended actions, environmental factors, or system failures. Question number 22. Which threat category encompasses deliberate actions, errors, or activities conducted by individuals or organizations with harmful intent? A. Natural disasters. B. Non-malicious threats. C. Environmental hazards. D. Malicious threats. The answer that encompasses deliberate actions, errors, or activities conducted by individuals or organizations with harmful intent is D. Malicious threats. This is because the other options focus on non-intentional occurrences or environmental factors. A. Natural disasters. These are unpredictable and uncontrollable events caused by nature, like hurricanes or earthquakes. B. Non-malicious threats. These are unintentional causes of harm, such as accidental data loss or equipment failure. C. Environmental hazards. These are long-term threats to the environment like pollution or climate change, primarily arising from human activity, but not necessarily aiming for immediate harm. Therefore, malicious threats specifically highlights the element of intentionality and harm caused by individuals or organizations with malicious motives. This could include cyber attacks, physical attacks, fraud, or espionage. Remember, malicious actors can exploit natural disasters, non-malicious threats, and even environmental hazards to further their harmful goals. So, it's important to differentiate the categories based on the origin and intent behind the threat. Question number 23. Which term describes cyber threats arranged by highly structured and disciplined groups with substantial resources targeting specific entities for extended durations? A. Directed advanced persistent threats. B. Patient advanced persistent threats. C. Organized advanced persistent threats. D. Well-financed advanced persistent threats. The correct answer is C. Organized advanced persistent threats. Organized advanced persistent threats, APTs, refer to cyber threats orchestrated by well-structured and disciplined groups possessing significant resources. These threats are meticulously planned and executed, targeting specific entities or organizations for prolonged periods, aiming to infiltrate systems and gather sensitive information. Question number 24. Which type of advanced persistent threats demonstrates an unprecedented level of patience, lying dormant within systems for extended periods? A. Patient advanced persistent threats. B. Well-financed advanced persistent threats. C. Stealthy advanced persistent threats. D. Organized advanced persistent threats. The correct answer is A. Patient advanced persistent threats, PAPTs. Here's why the other options are less likely. B. Well-financed advanced persistent threats. While financial resources can enable APTs to sustain lengthy campaigns, it doesn't directly relate to their patience or tendency to remain dormant. C. Stealthy advanced persistent threats. Stealthy APTs focus on evading detection, but that doesn't necessarily mean they remain dormant for extended periods. They could still actively steal data or manipulate systems while remaining undetected. D. Organized advanced persistent threats. Organizational structure may contribute to the efficiency and complexity of an APT, but it doesn't directly relate to their level of patience or dormancy. Therefore, the term patient advanced persistent threats, PAPTs, specifically highlights their defining characteristic: the ability to remain unseen and inactive within a system for an extended period, potentially months or even years, before taking any action. This allows them to gather extensive intelligence, gain deeper access, and prepare for a more impactful attack at the opportune moment. Question number 25. What enables well-financed advanced persistent threats to continuously upgrade their tactics and sustain long-term campaigns? A. Robust incident response plans. B. Advanced access controls. C. Financial resources. D. Intrusion detection systems. The answer to what enables well-financed advanced persistent threats to continuously upgrade their tactics and sustain long-term campaigns is most likely C. Financial resources. Here's why the other options are less likely. A. Robust incident response plans. While having a strong incident response plan can help an organization mitigate the damage from an advanced persistent threats attack, it does not directly contribute to the advanced persistent threat's ability to upgrade its tactics or sustain its campaigns. B. Advanced access controls. Advanced access controls can make it more difficult for advanced persistent threats to gain initial access to a system, but they do not prevent them from developing new tactics or sustaining ongoing campaigns once they have gained a foothold. ED. Intrusion detection systems. Intrusion detection systems can help detect advanced persistent threats activity, but they do not prevent APTs from developing new tactics or sustaining ongoing campaigns. Financial resources give well-financed, advanced persistent threats several advantages that allow them to continuously upgrade their tactics and sustain long-term campaigns. Investment in research and development. Advanced persistent threats can use their financial resources to fund research and development of new attack techniques, tools, and exploits. This allows them to stay ahead of defenders and develop increasingly sophisticated attacks. Hiring skilled attackers. Advanced persistent threats can attract and retain skilled attackers by offering high salaries and benefits. This gives them access to a pool of talent that can develop and execute complex attacks. Purchasing zero-day vulnerabilities. Advanced persistent threats, APTs, can purchase zero-day vulnerabilities, which are vulnerabilities that have not yet been patched by software vendors. This gives them a significant advantage over defenders, who may not be aware of the vulnerability or have a patch available. Maintaining infrastructure. APTs need to maintain a large infrastructure, including servers, command and control systems, and malware development tools. Financial resources are essential for keeping this infrastructure operational. Therefore, while all of the options listed can play a role in the success of an APT, financial resources are the most critical factor in enabling them to continuously upgrade their tactics and sustain long-term campaigns. Question number 26. What is essential for mitigating the risks posed by advanced persistent threats in today's dynamic cybersecurity landscape? A. Limited security assessments. B. Reactive incident response planning. C. Robust security posture and proactive measures. D. Ignoring employee training on cybersecurity. The correct answer is C. Robust security posture and proactive measures. Here's why the other options are not ideal. A. Limited security assessments. These are insufficient against the sophisticated tactics of APTs, who constantly adapt and exploit new vulnerabilities. Regular comprehensive assessments are crucial, but proactive measures are needed beyond just identifying potential weaknesses. B. Reactive incident response planning. While important, focusing only on responding to breaches leaves organizations vulnerable to initial infiltration and ongoing damage. Proactive measures are key to prevent successful intrusions in the first place. D. Ignoring employee training on cybersecurity. Employee awareness and proper training are essential for identifying suspicious activity and preventing social engineering attacks that APTs often rely on. However, relying solely on this element wouldn't be enough against the complex and multi-layered strategies employed by APTs. Therefore, a robust security posture encompassing proactive measures is the most crucial element for mitigating APT risks. This includes implementing strong perimeter security, firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and advanced threat protection tools can help detect and block malicious activity at the network edge. Regularly patching systems and software. Vulnerabilities in outdated software are prime targets for APTs. Timely patching is essential to close these gaps before they can be exploited. Multi-factor authentication, MFA. Adding an extra layer of security beyond passwords makes it much harder for attackers to gain unauthorized access. Data encryption. Encrypting sensitive data both at rest and in transit protects it from being accessed by attackers even if they breach the system. Threat intelligence and proactive threat hunting. Continuously monitoring for potential threats and proactively searching for indicators of compromise helps identify and neutralize APT activity before it causes significant damage. Employee security awareness training. Educating employees about common attack tactics and their role in cybersecurity can significantly reduce the risk of successful social engineering attacks. Mitigating the risks posed by APTs requires a comprehensive and layered approach. While ignoring employee training is definitely not recommended, the focus should be on building a strong defense system that actively prevents intrusions and minimizes potential damage, alongside fostering a security-conscious culture within the organization. Please subscribe, like, and share for friends in other university.